Hello there, folks. My name is Jocko Duggan. I'm Boston's only limo driving poet comedian. As a poet and a comedian, I'm an observer, kind of a student of humanity. As a limo driver, I don't get much study time because there's very little humanity out there on the road. A lot of us get into our vehicles, folks, and we completely forget that we're human beings. Or, more precisely, we start to think that we're the only human being out there, and the rest of these little obstructive hunks of metal are being driven around by primitive ape-like creatures that have no idea where they're going and no business being out there in the first place. I think that life on the highway is a pretty good analogy for life in general. People are just out there trying desperately to get ahead of the guy in front of them, and the people in front are trying to keep the people in back of them exactly where they are. And there's no end to the insane things that they're willing to do in order to achieve their goal. When the last I heard, there was no prize at the end of the highway, and life was not a race to begin with. And if it was, I seriously doubt that it could be won. There's just too many of us out there. There's always going to be somebody ahead of us, either on the highway, in the boardroom, or in the supermarket. Come to think of it, the supermarket is a great illustration of how insane we are out there on the road. Sure, the very same things that happen to us out on the road happen to us in the supermarket, but we take them all with a different perspective. When you think of it, all the thoroughfares get jammed, people stop short in the small aisles, they don't move fast enough in the big ones. Often people don't know what they want or where to find it. Everybody wants to finish first, and nobody wants to wait in line. The big difference being when somebody gets in front of us in the supermarket, we don't give them the finger and start making disparaging comments about their parentage. No, nor do we try to intimidate elderly people into never coming out of their homes again. We simply take on another perspective. We just ask people politely, to get out of our way. And people usually smile and apologize and let us go on our way. The supermarket is crowded, it's congested, it's stressful, nobody wants to be there, but somehow or another we manage to treat each other like human beings while we're in there. Detroit, you want to make safer cars? Forget about the horns and the high beams. Give us cars that can say excuse me and thank you. I bet it'll drop the accident rate 50% overnight. And folks, until Detroit makes those cars for us, the next time you get up on someone's tail on the highway, try to remember that's just another human being in front of you, with all their problems, quirks, defects, and idiosyncrasies. And if that doesn't help to calm you down, then try adopting a totally different perspective. Instead of lamenting being behind a slower vehicle, imagine for a moment that you're actually 24,701 miles ahead of him. Yes, the precise circumference of the globe. You've won the race at last. Congratulations. So many things in this world are just a matter of perspective. I was coming out of the tunnel at Logan Airport the other day, and I could see that it had just been raining, but the sun was now shining brightly. And as I was going up the ramp to the upper levels, you get to this point where there's a great panoramic view of the entire city. And as I was approaching it, in front of this beautiful panoramic view of the city was the biggest, brightest, most vibrant rainbow that I had ever even dared to imagine, much less hope to see in my lifetime. And as much as the state police, Massport officials, and the passenger in the back of my car would later let me know they disapproved of my actions, I pulled over to the side of the ramp, got out of the car, and I stood there to observe this magnificent phenomenon that I knew would be gone in mere moments. Being the poet that I am, I took out my voice recorder, and this is what came to my mind. Some, they see a rainbow and dream of peace in every land. Others tremble, moved to tears, yearn to hold a lover's hand. Some see a bridge to heaven, a conduit for the soul. The Irish speak of leprechauns and a fabled pot of gold. Me, I see a rainbow, any promise mere illusion, a fleeting lie of beauty, most reviled, and intrusion. So when I see a rainbow's arc, I turn away, won't talk of it, for I learned long ago the pot of gold was really just a crock of shit. Thanks for tuning in, folks. My name is Jocko Duggan, Boston's only limo driving poet comedian.